Hello Internet, I'm Zahn and welcome to another Let's Play series. And we got a good one today. As you can see from the scrolling and silent opening screen here, we're going to be playing through a notorious NES classic, in quotes, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. Now, before we get started here, if you've been on the internet for a while and have heard people talking about well-known retro games and things on the NES library that are either loved or hated, I'm sure you've heard of Castlevania 2. And if you're a fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd, or even the animator slash Let's Player Ego Raptor, I'm sure you've heard quite a bit of commentary on this game, and it's been very harshly criticized by a lot. And I think pretty much everyone has said what they've needed to say as far as the game's faults and what's sort of contributed to its notorious legacy among the other beloved titles in the Castlevania library. But I figured since this game does have a bit of nostalgia for me from my days back on the early NES console days, it'd be good to play through and sort of give my own, I guess, commentary on it, sort of explain what I remember from playing it back in the day, and also to sort of come at it from a different angle. You can't tell from the uh, opening thing here because it's the standard prologue screen and title screen from the game, but I'm actually playing a updated version called Simon's Quest Redaction, which was done by the almighty Guru, and I'm sure you've heard all the other people who've done detailed videos on this game talk about this. So this is a ROM hack of the original, but the almighty Guru went in and updated and changed a lot of the more annoying gameplay features to sort of smooth out the flaws and make the game better. So that's going to be a completely fresh experience because the last time I played through this was on the Nintendo when I was much younger, with the handy Nintendo Power guides to get through all the way through the game. I've never actually played this updated version, so I'm kind of interested to see what's different, what things they changed, and how the mechanics are different, and just sort of see what kind of experience it is. Because a lot of, again, like I mentioned before, a lot of this game is nostalgia for me, and while I think it's very flawed, I wouldn't consider it a terrible game. It's just not a great game, and hopefully the redaction version improves upon that and makes for a better experience. So let's go ahead and jump in. I guess I'll give the prologue thing one more scroll through so I can officially read it. As you can see, this game came out in 1998 by Konami. The prologue of this one, sequel to the original. Years ago, Simon Belmont defeated Dracula, but the vampire lives on as a terrible curse. In a nutshell, Simon's got to rid the land of the curse. As it scrolls back, Simon must gather Dracula's remains and destroy them permanently. So basically, you're on a quest to gather the remains of Dracula and then destroy them once and for all and rid the land of the curse. And this game has a password system, but we're going to be starting from scratch, so we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so right away, we're in the first town of the game, and I'm going to try and move efficiently here. I'm not going to dawdle since we have the day and night transitions. But talking to this first guy, one of the first things I notice is that the text scroll is much faster, and his hint says the white crystal will let you see unseen platforms. So right away, I know that's new, because in the original, he gives you a really kind of cryptic hint about the white crystal and what it does, but doesn't really specify, so right away, that's a much clearer hint. 13 clues must be found to prevail. That is a reference to the books that you can find hidden in dungeons by breaking walls. It explains some things in the game. This is the town of Jova. Please save us from Dracula. That might not be different from the original. To the left side, and I'm not going to bother with trying to interpret the actual cardinal directions because the map is convoluted in this game. To the left, we've got Velasco March. To the right, Berkeley Mansion and Veros. Holy water breaks walls and reveals traps. Okay, that's a pretty clear hint. This this guy says, pray at the church to restore your vitality. So that's a pretty straightforward hint that if you need to recover your life, go into the churches if you manage to enter a town during the day. So this guy is one of the first merchants we encounter, and asks if we want to buy a Thorn Whip, which is an upgrade to the Leather Whip, which is our starting weapon. And I'm going to say no, one, because if we were to hit start, we've got 50 hearts, which is the currency in this game. One, I don't have enough, and two, from what I gather, it's not really worth it to try and farm up to get it in this town, since it'll be a better upgrade later. Discover a clue in the woods outside of Algiva. I forget what that clue is supposed to be referencing. Find the 3 clues lost in Berkeley Mansion. That's a reference to some of the clues you can find in the first dungeon. So this guy sells the white crystal? Yes. Okay. So that's what we need to get before we head to the first dungeon. But since I know I'll be able to get it shortly, I'm actually going to buy the holy water from this guy, so I have a secondary weapon to use. And now by hitting up and B, it tosses an infinite amount of holy water at the ground, which breaks blocks and can stop enemies in their tracks. And so before we head off to the first dungeon, we're going to go farm up some hearts in the woods, and we'll basically cycle the game probably from day to night once and hopefully get 50 hearts and then move on. So right away as we enter the woods and start killing werewolves and skeletons, and there it is. Notice the text and the night transition is instantly quicker. That's a welcome change. What I was going to say is the daytime theme, where you're walking around most of the areas, is a very famous song from Castlevania called Bloody Tears. That's my favorite song from the game, of the fairly limited tracks here. It's a very iconic, very fitting song that's sort of stayed with the franchise for a long time. And they sort of remixed it and used it in later installments in some capacity. It's a very, very good song. The nighttime theme is also pretty fitting. I found that the music in general in this game, nobody really has any qualms with. It's one of the things I see people consistently praise amidst the criticism for all of the other flaws. So this game has good music. I would say, I'll probably mention this again as we go, but the music, environments, and overall presentation of this game is done well. The whole sort of spooky, looming sense of fear and darkness is done well. Atmosphere in general is well executed in this game. So again, that's another plus. Sort of starting off into the criticisms, which I'll do here or there as necessary. The idea of utilizing RPG elements to have upgradable gear and experience levels, which we'll see later, was new for Castlevania, and while I don't think it was executed very well, it was interesting to see that in this game. But one of the downsides, obviously, is because I need to grab that white crystal, I have to farm up hearts from enemies here, and this can get tedious. And depending on how much time I spend doing this, I may edit out sections where I'm doing this sort of grinding, because it doesn't make for a very interesting Let's Play, I know. But I want to be strategic in how I gather resources here, because what I've learned since playing this game back in the day, the amount of times you cycle from day to night affects the ending. And so if you spend all your time farming and progressing from day to night and back again, it'll give you a worse ending. And I am definitely not afraid to consult a walkthrough, because I don't remember how to play 100% through this game. But in the event I'm grinding for an excessively long time, I will cut those parts out and then sort of recap so that we keep the Let's Play moving. But right now I guess it was a town of Jova, right? Once the town switches to night and all these zombies come out, you can't go into any of the doors, churches, shops. Everything is closed up. Morning sun has vanquished the horrible night. Alright. So, what I was going to say there was, in order to access the different parts of the town, you have to wait for day to come back, night to day, and then you can heal yourself, buy items, what have you. Alright, so got the white crystal, so we're going to proceed to the next section of the game, heading to the right here. And one thing I didn't mention, it was probably obvious just based on what I was doing when I was fighting these guys at night, but enemies become stronger at night versus the day. So these skeletons are taking a couple shots. I think the werewolves are taking 2 or 3 shots. So in general, it's more dangerous to be running around at night. And that's death number 1. So, as many people have mentioned in the criticisms of this game, the old tenet in Castlevania, at least on the Nintendo, of hits knocking Simon backwards is a big problem in this game. Basically means a lot of the challenge comes from watching your positioning and watching for enemies, so you're not next to a pit, next to water, or next to something that's going to instantly murder you if you get knocked backwards. And I'm sure that's going to continue to be a problem as we go, because I'm definitely not a pro at this game. And until I get something that can stop projectiles, I'm going to have to be careful. Okay, so this is the first mansion. Let's go ahead and equip our white crystal. It makes this platform visible, which is nice.